Welcome to day 2 of Train Week 2021. We're in Yarbo, Saskatchewan along the CN main line, but it's far more than just one track today. All this week we're showing train episodes, so make sure you subscribe to see them all. So what is that? It isn't a train at all. It's a conveyor belt, but it goes right over top of the CN main line. What conveyor could be so important? Well, a potash conveyor, of course. We're in potash country, and there are several mines nearby. Potash primarily ships by rail, so that means there's also a lot of trains and tracks. This conveyor belt looks small from the air, but remember, you can fit double-stack trains underneath because that's the main line. They need a lot of clearance. That conveyor belt has to go right over top because you can't really go underneath. If you've never been in this part of Saskatchewan before, the fact a conveyor belt goes over the rail line might be a big surprise. Well, that conveyor ends up here at the K1 Potash mine and processing facility. It's bringing material for processing from the K3 mine. That K3 location doesn't have a rail line of its own, so the material is shipped by conveyor belt a couple miles to this plant, then ends up loaded on those cute pink cars we see so often. Here at K1, there's a lot of track to keep track of. Get it? Okay, never mind the humor. Both Canadian National and Canadian Pacific serve this facility. Both of the tracks are really spurs. You can't get too close to roads, so we'll stick to the air as we check it out. The CP spur comes from Bredenbury off their Yellowhead route. It winds down this way to the mine, but also continues to the K2 mine a bit further down the track. The CP line crosses the CN main just east of Yarbo. Here at K1, the CN spur comes right from the main at Yarbo and ends up at the mine. There's a little yard on this spur, we'll see in a bit. Check out how cute the track looks as it curves around to join the CP line. The part that goes straight is the CN spur going back to their main. There's a bunch of grade crossings in the area, both on the highways and the gravel roads, but you'll know you're at the main line crossing when you see the crossing gates. The rest are protected only with lights and bells. We'll move just east of Yarbo on the main CN line. Looks like we have a little time to look around because I don't see any green lights. We're at the signals, and just to the west a siding splits off for use as a passing track. Up ahead you can see the first part of a Y that goes to the K1 spur. Trains access that spur right from the main line. There's no access to it from the passing siding. I'm going to speed up this next part of the video a lot. The spur's Y makes it so trains can get onto the spur from either direction of travel. If you count all the crossings here, you'll see there's 4 separate crossings just in a couple hundred feet. The little yard has some room to park cars and also has some material stored for crews. The spur itself doesn't have its own name. On the grade crossing of the highway, it's known as the river's 38 spur. That's the name of the switch that leads to the spur. Off in the distance, you can see the K1 Potash mine and, of course, the big pile of waste material that's accumulated beside the mine. We'll spin around here and go back down the other side of the Y that leads to Yarbo. As we pass through town, you'll see a CN yard with a couple vehicles. You'll also notice a little siding that can be used to set out cars or crews. I'm sure back in the day you would have found at least one elevator in Yarbo, and likely along that little siding. As you get west of Yarbo, you run into that conveyor going overhead that we saw at the start of the episode. Off in the distance you can make out the head frame of the K3 mine. That's where the conveyor belt originates from and travels all the way up to the K1 mine, and as we spin around in Yarbo, you can see the edge of that mine too. The railway track's treated special. It goes over the rail line, but the conveyor belt actually goes under the highway. Well, not exactly. The conveyor belt stays right where it was, and the highway is built up to go over top of it. It's a pretty neat setup. At the west end of that Yarbo siding, it goes back onto the passing siding for the main line. There isn't a lot to Yarbo itself. It was incorporated in July of 1964. The population here is just 57. It would probably be gone completely, except that there are so many mines around. Every small town is full of people working in the potash industry. One of the attractions of filming here was certainly the conveyor belt. It's so unique, and I knew you'd love to see it, but the real money shot would be a train going under it. We had to wait around, well, quite a while to get one, but eventually one did show up. When you hear the whistle here, don't give up. You can hear the trains coming for miles, so if you're hearing the honk, wait around and chances are you'll be rewarded. Of course, if you have a drone, you can cheat and fly out to the signals and check if there happens to be a green light already, showing you that a route has been set up. It really wouldn't be train week if we didn't see a train, would it? So here's that shot we waited all day for, a train passing under the conveyor. We'll watch it go by from the air, and then we'll watch that same train at the crossing just east of town. That's in the middle of the Y, that's the spur that goes to the potash mine. Have you subscribed to Travels with Bill yet? Make sure to hit the button to see all of our new episodes from Train Week and all the other neat places we end up along the road. Yarbo, Saskatchewan is just one of many places we were looking for trains, and we also have some episodes coming in the future that show you a lot more about how those potash mines work, besides how the railway goes along with them. Until next time, farewell from Yarbo, Saskatchewan, and Travels with Bill.